What's up, family? This is Alex Nunez, Politic and Talk, man. News uncensored, news my way. You smell me? So let's get into this, man. Nina Turner was on MSNBC. I don't know if it was last night or if it was this morning, but she went on MSNBC and she totally obliterated the mainstream media's talking points regarding how we're going to pay for a lot of Bernie Sanders' quote-unquote radical policy ideas. So if you guys don't know who Nina Turner is one of the head organizers of the Bernie Sanders campaign. She's hella dope, man. She's just dope. You guys got to watch her. Go Google Nina Turner on YouTube, and she's great, man. She knows how to break things down in an easy to understand way. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play this video of her obliterating MSNBC's talking points. So let's get into it, man. So yeah, and then I'm gonna break it down every time. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna play this, but I want to break down what she's talking about with further empirical data and articles to help you understand the context better.
Does the senator plan to detail how he's going to pay for that? When Elizabeth Warren actually laid out her plan to pay for Medicare for all, it hurt her campaign.
We're going to detail it in the same way we detail how we have enough money to pay for wars. We're going to detail it in the same way that this Congress continues to give, especially Democrats who voted for, giving increasing the military budget of a president that they say is unfit to serve. Hello.
So she basically went after the Democrats, and including Nancy Pelosi, all the people, I believe it was 180 Democrats who voted for passing Trump's military budget plan, essentially handing him a blank check. And here's an article right here. It talks about truthdig.com. This happened back in July. It says right here, on Wednesday night, the United States Congress passed a $738 billion defense bill, right? That's $20 billion more than last year and $120 billion more than under Obama. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. 180 Democrats voted for it, along with most of the Republicans. Only 41 Democrats and 6 Republicans and 1 independent voted to oppose it. Most of those Democrats were progressive Democrats, of course. Just to give you like a visual reference of how much we spend compared to a lot of other countries, this is the United States right here in the red, and we spend $649 billion usually a year on average. That's more than China, Saudi Arabia, India, France, Russia, and the United Kingdom and Germany combined. They only spend $609 billion. We still spend $40 billion more than them combined. So it's ridiculous. This whole argument of how we're going to pay for Medicare for all, or how we're going to pay to get rid of student debt, it's ridiculous in my book, because we don't question how we spend money when it comes to the military budget. We don't question none of that, right? But when it comes to policies that help the working class, people who are working 2, sometimes 3 part-time jobs and can't get insurance because they're working part-time, but we'll question that, right? We'll question policies that help the people out. And this is exactly what she's talking about right here.
Somebody. So yeah, we're going to pay for it that way. In the same way that we had enough money to bail out Wall Street, we need to put it down.
That's another thing. Wall Street, 2008, Obama bailed out Wall Street. People forget about that. And we didn't question that, right? We don't question things when it comes to multi-billion-dollar corporations, and it's just ridiculous, man.
Down payment on Main Street. So yeah, we're going to explain how we're going to pay for it.
The majority of Democrats who helped flip the House in 2018 were moderates. James Carville made the argument over the weekend that Senator Sanders isn't a Democrat, he's an ideologue. And we've got to get practical. If he is the candidate, he is not going to be able to help win over the Senate. And unless you have the Senate, if you just got the White House, you ain't going to get nothing done.
So does practical mean that the 89 or so million people who are uninsured or underinsured in this country continue to suffer? Does being practical mean that we don't take steps in this country to deal with climate chaos and bring world leaders to bear? Does being practical mean that we continue to prop up a legal system that is unjust in every stretch of the imagination, that bears its weight down on black men and black women, and then by extension, if you are Hispanic or indigenous or poor? Does being practical mean that we don't say to the American people that you deserve better than what you are getting? That's not the kind of practicality we want. Does practical mean that you hold fundraisers and wine caves with Swarovski crystals with billionaires who want to control the system?
Okay, she just hit a very important point right there, man. She's talking about Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg came to Napa a few months ago, and he held a fundraiser with a bunch of rich folks over here in Napa in a wine cave with a bunch of billionaires. I mean, what do you think is happening in these type of fundraisers? I mean, you think they're talking about how they're going to help the working class? Hell no. They don't give a fuck about the working. This is California, man. If you guys live in California, man, you know that the poverty rates is climbing. We have uncontrolled wildfires going down right now. We got homeless camps everywhere. We had power blackouts from PG&E because they wanted to essentially get back at the state because they got sued and bankrupted by the state for creating not one but two fires in the past 3 or 4 years. And so, I mean, and he's over there in a wine cave talking with these billionaires and instead of the people, instead of the people out here, the working class. This is what we're talking about, man. This is what we're talking about. And thank you. I mean, Nina Turner, she broke it down. Like, is that practical? You know, having these fundraisers with these billionaires, is that practical? But you don't want to question that, right?
Practical mean we continue to go with the status quo while 500,000 people sleep on the streets at night. That's not practicality. So with all due respect to Mr. Carver, what the American people in this country need, they need somebody that is unabashed and that has the courage and the conviction to stand up for them and to call out the rigging of the system. And that candidate is Senator Bernie Sanders.
But steps and a revolution are two different things. In order to get to a revolution, you've got to take steps. And what James Carville is saying is, you've got to get to a practical place to make those changes.
Oh, man, Nina Turner just obliterated them, man. And so she's absolutely correct, man. She's absolutely correct. You know, this is just further proof that the mainstream media's talking points are coming from, they're not coming, we don't blame the journalists. They're coming from the top. Things always come from the top and they come down, right? And so she's absolutely right. Like, we don't question the military-industrial complex system. We don't question money when it comes to that. We don't question money when it comes to bailing out Wall Street, right? And then you want to talk about practicality, and here's Pete Buttigieg over here in a billionaire's wine cave, probably making all types of deals and promises that if he wins, he's going to have to uphold, because the people who finance his campaign are pretty much billionaires. So that's the people he's going to have to answer to. Unlike Bernie Sanders, whose campaign is funded by the people. I think his average campaign is like $18. I mean, I've given him in the past 4 months probably about $80. You know, I work part-time. So I want to go ahead and go to the second video. This is part 2, where basically Nina Turner goes into to the historical context of the elites always trying to downplay progressive movements by creating all these bullshit talking points, right? So let's get into this.
The elites in 1930 said the same thing about FDR. And he said, I welcome your hatred.
Okay, so let's stop it right here real quick, man. So she's talking about FDR, right? She's talking about FDR. FDR was a president in the 1930s who got the U.S. out of the Great Depression, and he was a progressive. He was a progressive of the times, in the times, and even back then, the elites went against his policies. They look. It says right here. Although Congress concluded there was some credibility to Butler's story and the news of the alleged conspiracy generated a brief sensation in the press, most historians have dismissed the plot as little more than what the late Arthur Schlesinger Jr. called a wild scheme. Still, the anniversary serves as a reminder of the degree to which the wealthy elite hated FDR. They hated FDR. Look, I'm a history major, man. They say history never repeats, but it rhymes. Elites hated FDR. Elites hate Bernie Sanders and the New Deal. Nor should we forget the opposition the New Deal generated among the hardcore conservatives in both parties. Look, we have conservatives in both parties, okay? Buttigieg is a conservative Democrat. Biden is a conservative Democrat. So like this is history not repeating, but it's rhyming. Okay, we're going through another phase of this, and look what happened when FDR won the presidency. He got us out of the Great Depression. Hello, in the words of Nina Turner, hello somebody. Come on, let's get real here. Bernie Sanders is the truth, man, and I mean, the truth is in the pudding. So let's keep it going, man. I want to keep on playing this.
These are the same people that if the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was still alive, when he stood up before he was gunned down, and he said...
That's another important point, real quick. Martin Luther King was a socialist. Everybody knows this. He's in his writings. He was a devout socialist, progressive. And the elites went against his whole ideology of coming together. The elites didn't want that because they know together they can't divide us. I mean, that's the whole point. That was Martin Luther King's message. He wanted unity through peaceful processes because he knew that united people could not be beaten by an elite oligarchy that wanted separation of the races in order to stay in power. Because if you separate people and you make them fight and bicker at each other, I mean, the only ones who are going to win are the ones at the top, not the people.
To this country, he said the evils of this country, militarism, materialism, poverty, and racism. Those are those same people. So now if President FDR had listened to those people, or if the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King had listened to those people, we would not progress as a nation. So every generation we got the naysayers, baby. But what the folks in this country need, they need somebody that's going to stand up for them. Senator Sanders is known as the Amendment King. He knows how to get things done. But what people need is to be able to call upon somebody that's not going to capitulate.
Senator Sanders supporters, what is their number one goal? Is it to start this revolution, or is it to defeat Donald Trump? And I ask because there's often a lot of talk around, will those supporters get behind another candidate if it's not Senator Sanders?
Why can't we have both? That same argument was made in 2016.
And a lot of those people did vote for Trump.
However, though, Stephanie, more of Senator Sanders' supporters supported Secretary Hillary Clinton than her supporters supported then Senator Barack Obama. So,
fact alert. I gotta show y'all this, the empirical data on that fact. So in 2008, of course, Hillary Clinton ran in the primaries to become the Democratic nominee, right? And she went against Obama. Of course, she lost against Obama. And it says right here, based on the data from the 2008 comparative cooperative campaign analysis project, a YouGov survey that also interviewed respondents in multiple times. It says right here, 25%. Unsurprisingly, Clinton's voters who supported McCain were likely to have negative views of African Americans relative to. So 25% of Clinton's voters ended up voting for the opposition candidate. So they ended up voting for McCain, who was Obama's opposition in the 2008 presidential election, with the 6 to 12% of Sanders supporters who may have supported Trump. So let's get this straight. That whole argument about how Bernie Sanders supporters lost Hillary Clinton the election is some bullshit. 12% of our voters, Sanders supporters, voted for Trump, with compared to 25% of Hillary's voters in 2008 that voted for against Obama and voted for McCain. I mean, This is the data right here. Look, this is the data. And if you guys want to see this for yourself, send me a message and I'll send you the link to this article. But I mean, like, look, we're living in a time where we got to make a choice. We got to make a choice whether we want to really implement real changes within our system, make systematic changes, or do we want to go backwards and go back to how it was before? People were still suffering under Obama. People were still suffering under Clinton's. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Even things have just gotten worse under Republicans. You know what I mean? Like this is how it works. Like a Republican will come into power and just fuck everything up. Then a Democrat has to come into power and they just keep it stable, right, for a little bit. Then another Republican comes and they just fuck it up even more. And a Democrat comes in and just keeps it stable. We need a progressive as a president to progress. We need to go forward. We can't just stay stable. We need to make shit happen. So yeah, if you guys got any questions, man, holler at me. This is motherfucking politicking L, baby.